So welcome Napsta, my dearest and nearest. So Napsta's, tell us actually about yourself. Like, I'm not going to talk for you. We are fellow Leos, so like make yourself shine, please.
Yes. Hi guys, my name is Napsta. I'm the lighting technician.
No, please don't.
I've been here all along, just in the background. Today I'm on screen.
No.
Nah, I'm kidding. My name is Napsta. I'm a comedian, creative entrepreneur, and passionate about social impact, social change, and all things that have to do with young people and developing young entrepreneurs.
Oh, awesome.
That's
All
my story.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been friends for? Do you know?
I can safely say
Say-
6 years.
6 years. Has it really been that long?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So
6 years.
we have done the fun side of life as
Yes.
friends. We've gone through trauma together. We've gone through, I think that's what makes us actually really just best friends. Like we've gone through all the trials and tribulations that people go through to make sure that, and you're still here. You're still here. We're still friends. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign,
Exactly. Still going, baby.
Yeah, and we've done a little bit of business together when you've done your awesome, what do you call it, like conferences,
chapter,
next
seminar,
chapter,
yeah.
which I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes.
But today I want us to talk about something more, like chilled and just our daily struggles as people.
Yeah.
Instead of, because I think sometimes as Leos as well, we were just saying like you put on such a front and as a male, and as an African male, I've got a lot of African clients as well. And I'm so glad you're willing to talk openly today.
Yeah.
That really put a face on. And the mental health struggles that men go through are so hushed or, we don't. I mean, what happened with Ricky Rick was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He was also a comedian, correct?
He was a musician, a rapper.
A rapper, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know too much of his music, but when it happened, because I actually knew him from The Voice. I love The Voice. But
yes.
so we can talk about that. But I wanted to ask you, how is it being single in Cape Town? As a man, we're not going to give age away because you are young. It's happening. So being single in Cape Town, the struggles. Yeah, black crack. How many times have you heard that yourself? Like people are like, oh, the theory is real when I look at you. But tell me, how is it being single in Cape Town? What are the struggles like?
I think there's like a whole thread of memes and inside jokes about how tough it is dating in the Cape Town scene. I don't really have the full context, but I think it just lends itself naturally to, a high, dense travel city where people are coming in and out. So the level of engagements are very casual, high frequency, and brief. So naturally, the people there, not in a bad way, don't have depth.
Okay.
Or choose not to engage in depth because they know they're not there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think both in friendships and relationships, that's been just my personal observation that Cape Town can be very surface.
Okay.
Well,
they do say you've lived in Joburg. They say Joburg is friendlier, more welcoming, which I'm like, oh, I hate to hear it. And I try my best to go out in Cape Town and prove that theory wrong.
Yeah.
But living in both, how have you experienced like Joburg compared to Cape Town when it comes to welcoming, people being welcoming? And
funny enough, I think Cape Townians are the most welcoming people. I mean, look at how we met.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, I think Cape Townians are easygoing.
Yeah.
I always laugh and I say, you meet a Cape Townian once, the next day they're like, I want you to meet my friend.
Okay.
And you're like, we just met, but the connection is like so genuine. It's so easy to make friends here. The only challenge is that it's on the surface. You know, people I know that call me dude, they don't know my name, they don't know what I do, but when we meet, the connection is so real. Like on a night out or at a dinner spot, they really take the time.
They're not going to avoid you. They're actually going to go up to you and greet you. And
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't necessarily think that.
Rightfully so, old Cape Town was cliquey.
Yes, that's what I've heard that.
And a huge influx of non-Cape Townian people in the city that have just brought a new energy to the city. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing Cape Town or the Cape Town people.
Better not. I'm from Cape Town, so you better not.
I love Cape Townians and I've probably made some of the best connections in Cape Town. But I'd probably say, to answer your question, the toughest thing about dating in Cape Town is probably that for me. on the surface. And then I think the second thing is Cape Town is the number one travel destination and has become the
Yes.
the largest influx of millionaires and billionaires. If you didn't know that, by the way.
Oh, goodness.
Yes,
I feel it. I mean,
moving here.
listen here, you just have to go Camps Bay.
Yeah.
And you're like sitting there and eating, and then you hear this car go by, or it's just flashy. It's like, how do you know someone has money? You know, especially new money.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, I mean, what they're wearing, how they're talking, what they're ordering, and they want other people to know sometimes as well, especially new money. But carry on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that that lends itself to a lot of pretentiousness.
Okay.
You know, on both sides.
Yeah.
Guys are flaunting their wealth, and then some of the girls are looking for rich men. So just navigating yourself as a man, trying to find meaningful and genuine connections is not an easy thing to navigate. But there's amazing girls in Cape Town, beautiful girls, smart girls. But I think it's when you filter through the surface stuff that you really find that depth. But for me, those have been the two biggest challenges in dating in Cape Town. Shallow and materialistic.
And to navigate that.
And to navigate that.
Do you think, like, when you meet someone based on maybe your experience or your friends' experiences, but mostly as a man, when you meet someone, is there a way of, especially with a woman, you know immediately, okay, this woman's going to be a high standard. She's going to want really nice things. Do you have a radar? Like, they call it a gay radar, but do you know a materialistic radar? Like, you know, that's what she's going to want.
I wouldn't say a materialistic radar. I think that's hard, but I would say a standard and a class. The places where they eat, the clothes that they wear, the places where they hang out will already tell you someone's standard and level. The funny thing for me, when I first moved to Cape Town, I actually used to come here way before I moved here. Do you know what was my favorite thing?
What?
Walking on Bree Street, going to a coffee shop.
Okay.
Meeting the most chilled people, didn't know their family background, didn't know how much money they had. It was all about art, creativity, connection. That's how I fell in love with Cape Town.
Okay.
But then I later found out that there's that
other side, yes.
The Atlantic seaboard.
Yes, but also I can also not take face value of someone wearing the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean everything at home is all right. It's the status you put, like this pressure, the social pressure we have to, like, you know, put forward.
Absolutely.
And then do you think, knowing that, I don't know, some people are surface level, do you think there's a lot of pressure for men to make an appearance that they are on a certain level? How do you find, based on yourself and friendships, other men, how do you feel it is?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all coping mechanisms for acceptance, for belong, and for relevance. You know, and I always say it's so funny. We think peer pressure only applied when we were back in school, but peer pressure applies till the day you die. It's all about the friendship circles you're in and the circles where you do life.
Yes.
So if you are in those circles where, you know, the girls have the Louis Vuitton and the Hermes bags and everyone's going to Bali every second week and going to Milan, and maybe you are just trying to build your business, you are going to start feeling that pressure. And you will either decide to stay authentic or you'll start pretending. I mean, I know a lot of girls who buy fake bags just to belong. I know.
How do you feel about that, actually? Like, because I've got a certain opinion. It's just, to me, I find it kind of like sad in the sense.
Yeah.
Because now you even have to go find a place that now has to. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
That just shows
The type of pressure there is.
We can never judge.
No, listen, we listen, we don't judge.
You see, we do judge, but we must always say we don't judge.
No,
I mean, naturally.
Politically correct.
Yeah,
we do not
we
judge.
do judge.
But we do.
But I think, like you said, it just shows you the severity and intensity. Imagine a 42-year-old or 44-year-old woman going and buying a fake bag to belong. That's
Oh, wow.
deep.
That is deep. It
And
goes way
that is
deeper than we
real.
think. Yes.
You know? So I think that's just that. It just shows you how intense these social and materialistic badges are. I mean, I also know people who will probably go to London. They'll stay at a hostel, at a backpacker. Then during the day, they'll go take videos at a fancy hotel.
Wow.
And go morning breakfast, you know. People who will take videos at a business lounge line,
Yes.
but they're flying economy to create
this
facade and
this
this persona
facade,
and
like
this
almost fake it
image,
till you make it
you
type
know?
thing. Yes.
Which at the beginning is fun, it's banter, you're building your social following, but the trap is when you now have to maintain.
Oh.
And when you meet friends who fly business class and they're like, oh, great, let's all fly.
Yes.
Now,
I'm like, I can't afford economy at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? I just had to fake it
you know?
for the past trip.
Now you're making excuses that you're sick, you can't go to Bali.
You're just living a lie.
But you couldn't go to Milan. Now you also can't go to Mauritius.
Joburg's not even an option anymore.
Lies are so hard to keep up with, you know?
And it's so sad. And I want to also say, you know, for my viewers that are my clients as well, obviously I'll never share and divulge names, but a lot of my clients that are men have shared with me and opened up to me the struggles of the dating scene and the pressures. And I'm talking all classes now. I mean, I'm not even talking high class. I'm going to, you know, low, middle and high class. So
interesting.
Yes. And I'm having clients that, you know, work a blue collar job and they have a partner or someone that they like in the same blue collar job, right?
Crazy.
And they will be, you know, seeing each other and they like each other. And then the next time I speak to him, he's like, no, it came out that she had a boyfriend for every occasion. Like she needed a boyfriend for a gym membership. She needed a boyfriend for as a driver because he was an Uber driver. So, you know, you need that.
Free transport.
And it was so sad. And the other day, based on that, and he's been my client for a while, and he was like to me, I really like her. And I'm like, okay, but remember, we need to work on that self-esteem that, you know your standard, that it's not okay, you know, for that. And he's like, no, but this one told me she has another guy. So at least she didn't lie.
Wow.
And I go, that is the sad. It's like, okay, maybe there's improvements in your way. Okay, at least, you know, you didn't cut it off. But do you hear that? Do you hear that? Oh, but she didn't lie at least. And I go, do you know what that reflects in your self-esteem?
Absolutely.
That you are enough.
Yeah.
You are enough as you are.
Yeah.
And not that this matters, but you're working in the same job. Like, why is she looking down? You know, so what do you...
It's like this, right? Dating in 2025 is not like dating in 2015 or 2005. We live in a very economic world where, whether you like it or not, it's all about money. And it's worse with the pressures of social media. Remember, before social media, we always had an idea that our friends were richer than us, but we had no idea. With social media, we see everything, what they wear, what they eat, that they don't work. That 7 days a week, they are literally just on jet skis and yachts and what. And sooner or later, women are going to want to desire these things. And it's only a handful of men that are able to provide that, especially men who are doing things legally, you know? So what starts happening is that there's this toxic cycle of unrealistic expectations from women, either overtly spoken or subtle.
Yes,
a woman doesn't have to say, give me $20,000. She can just go, oh, you know, it's so tough, you know. And as a man, you're like, no, baby, don't worry. And then maybe you start doing things that are outside of your character because you want to provide.
And not the budget,
you know?
really.
And, you know, like, what did my mom always say? Champagne tastes, beer money. You know? So I know women will be like, no, don't refer to us as that. We're not objects. But the truth is, when it comes to women, I've also learned you need to know what your class and your level is. There is such a thing. I know it's so like, okay, dude, wow. Are you referring to women? Yes. There's levels and there's classes. You cut your cloth according to your size.
Okay.
And stay in your lane, unfortunately, whether it's before it was for marriage, like, okay, if you're going to marry a woman, look at what level of woman. Now even for dating. Because dating a woman outside of your class can get you so out of pocket that you are so out of your depth. And I've seen guys get in debt, from socially, from the nightclub to the clothes, to the trips, to, and if you cannot maintain that and afford that,
but
then maybe your bracket is women who have their own money.
Yeah, 100%.
You see,
100%.
which
There's
is not
also
a bad
things as what is it? Sugar babies,
sugar
boys,
sugar money,
sugar mama,
Yeah.
sugar mama. Yeah.
not even a sugar mommy. I just mean like, I work, you work.
Equals. Like we half off.
Spoil you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even need to be half off.
Okay.
Just cover your own. But there are other women who, you must pay for my hair, you must pay for my wax, you must pay for my travels, you must pay for my shoes, you must pay for my handbags.
Yes.
You must give me money to send to my family.
Oh,
You must fly me
true.
everywhere,
Yeah.
whether it's social, but you must. And if you know as a guy that you cannot afford that, no matter how wonderful this thing is that you guys have, you must be realistic enough to say, at this season in my life, I'm actually just looking at women who can pay their own way. And what I do is extra, and there's no pressure. Or a student. Yeah.
I know.
Who,
Yes. But I think the thing is, at the end of the day, then are you taking away the people that, so not all people that have money are pretentious, right?
100%.
And there's such a thing, even though we're in 2025, that people do marry for love, even if it's
smaller than 1%.
Yes.
But they're there, you're right.
There.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say like, all people, because but you need to also now know what you want. It takes a long while. You can be 15, 70 and still not know, what you want in a woman. But it's also okay to go, I don't want a materialistic person.
Yeah, absolutely.
If she's not with me through the ride and die, not with me through the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it Chance the Rapper? Or Kendrick Lamar? I can't. They literally have the same partner that they had before they made it.
That's beautiful.
And to me,
that's
if she gets now a Gucci bag every now and then, but she never wanted that from the get-go.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I understand that that's very difficult. And so tell me as well, growing up.
I was going to add something.
Okay, go.
So I was going to say, I think it's important to distinguish between materialistic woman and men understanding the realities of an economic world.
Okay.
Very different, but very relevant. A materialistic woman is someone who just looks at you as, like you said, either you're the guy who pays the bills, transports her, flies around the world, whatever. You're just a transaction, right? And they're there, and we know them or we don't know them, but they're there.
Yes.
But then there's another group of guys that are just ignorant of the fact that it's not 20 years ago. Dating is expensive. Women are expensive. Even, my mother says, even the most modest woman is expensive. Like one who will never demand things. How much is it to wash your hair? Tell us. How much is it to wash your hair?
Well, the thing is, I'm privileged that I've got white hair, so I don't have to do braids. I don't have to do. Well, an African woman doesn't have to do that either. But it's expensive. I know because I know from my friends. But so to
even
do my
you
hair,
doing your hair. I know that hair.
I don't want to lie, because to wash and blow dry costs 400 rand, but like I said, to do braids, it's going to cost 1,000, 2,000. So I can't speak for that. But even that, it's money. Yes, you're right. You're right. It costs money to do the blowout,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Massage, nails, wax, facials.
Yes.
It's like, what's an average dinner?
Well, depends where you're going. It depends where you're going. Like, I'm not, I always say to people, actually, why don't you just pretend you have, just you know, the reward. I saw this TikTok where it said, or this quote that says, I'm still waking up to find out that my boyfriend's going to be a billionaire. I'm still waiting and I'm hoping that he wakes me up tomorrow and he goes, this has all been a joke. I'm actually at a test. I'm a millionaire. You get what I'm saying?
I love that. That's so funny.
No, but it's true.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
Yeah, because we put in so much, like, don't let them know. Don't indulge in the beginning. That's a reward for being with you, Napster. Like, if you
a beautiful surprise.
Yeah,
I once was with a girl and I found out how extremely wealthy she was. I'm talking ridiculously wealthy, and it was refreshing because unassuming Hyundai i10, you know.
Oh,
yeah. So it's. You do find extremely wealthy people who are able
to... But that sometimes feels old money, eh?
Yeah, that's wealth.
People, that's
wealth, not
I've
rich,
had
it's
this,
wealth.
you know, it's not... and there is a difference in that. And
100%.
In South Africa, we actually spoke about it at your, you know, conference about new money, old money, black tax, all of that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that in the role that it plays in South Africa, you know?
Black tax is real. It's funny, I was listening to a show on late night radio and they were actually interviewing black executive CEOs, like guys who earn 200,000 and above.
Were they based in South Africa or was it black people all around the world? Okay, South Africa, based in South Africa.
Top executives. And the show was about black tax. So the host was like, okay, help me here.
Yeah.
You earn 200,000 Rand a month. Your house is probably subsidized. Your car is subsidized. Your travel is subsidized. You probably take home 150, 160. How are you here complaining about black tax? Do you know what he said? The higher you go in your level, the people that you are supporting automatically assume they are also on the same level.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So now you used to send your family maybe like 1,000 Rand to get on a Lyft flight. But now that you are flying business, they're going, but how can we fly economy when you're flying business? You used to send your family to Zimbabwe in December. They're going, but how can you go to Milan and you sending us to Zimbabwe? You know, so, and all those things are self-imposed pressures that the CEO, because the CEO also has an ego going, I'm the CEO of Standard Bank. How can my mom be seen at Zimbabwe flight? So there's two types of black tax. There's a black tax that's an honor to us, where we are honored to plow back, give back to either our parents, our uncles, our grannies who raised us. And it's never, I will never complain about black tax. But I think there's another side where we self-impose ourselves, where we go over and above. We do things that we're not asked for. And then we try to put those people on our level. You know? Now, your whole family doesn't need to wear Gucci. Maybe you worked 15 years to wear Gucci.
Yes,
you're sitting it's a Christmas present. Everyone gets Gucci. 200,000 Rand gift bags of Gucci.
That automatically, in my mind, goes new money, you know, because obviously with the history in South Africa, 100%. This is new money.
100%. And new money isn't always a bad thing. New money is also an outlet because you've never had. So it's a wrong placement of
value. Sometimes in the sense that, is it sustainable? You know, like,
never.
You know, and
it's a trap.
And I feel sometimes I see it, like I said, with my work, you know, working within all communities with the wealthy and more in the poverty area, that people in black tax, like you said, everywhere. But now we live in 2025. And this is the topics I want to talk about, the taboo and the hard topics is these people, we're not living 30 years ago where the traditional standards are still there, the traditional culture, where Ubuntu, like, I'll give what's off my back, you know? To me, it was always, and I don't understand because like I said, as you can see, I'm white, but the fact of the matter is that was based on respect, based on mutual respect, based on give and take, where now in 2025, it's take.
Yeah.
So I've got clients that make bare minimum. And they send in money back home where in Western Cape, it's a lot of easy causes, so it'll be Eastern Cape for food and stuff.
Yeah.
but they can't put food on their own table.
Yeah.
And there would be two brothers in Eastern Cape that are highly capable, but haven't gotten a job or tried to get a job in 6 years.
Yeah.
So there's this very difficult discussion and pressure. And I'm in the position of where I have a client I can't understand. I can't. But I also know for his best interest, this man's he's thought about suicide. That if he doesn't set appropriate boundaries, I'm not going here like, oh, how the hell can you do this? Like, what the hell's black tax? Like, come on, that's disgusting,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, I have to respect it. But also he's my client in front of me. I have to also go, if you don't set appropriate boundaries, you are going to drown,
Yeah.
And
Good.
and it's so funny because he's got children.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I need you to understand, like, he's got his now kingship. So now he's paying for his brothers. I would call it the past, like that's elders, right? So now you're going to repeat the pattern.
Yeah.
Because you aren't providing the best for your kids. And that's what I struggle with. And that's why I want, I understand, try to learn from my clients as well. So what is your opinion about that?
Two things. First, there's a phrase that says, don't set yourself alight for the amusement of others. So I think that's what happens a lot when it comes to black tax, where you feel you need to sacrifice yourself just to please other people. And it can be very deadly and very dangerous, and it's not sustainable. And we've all fallen trapped to that on different levels, where you see yourself going down a road because you've created expectations. And I must always say, 99% of the time, it's not even our families. I swear.
Okay.
It's us. It's all us. It's all our traumas. It's all our self-imposed. It's all us. And human beings, the same as a woman. I mean, when you set an expectation with a woman, when you first meet her, you eat at Nobu, you take her to Bali, you take her wherever for 3 years, and then suddenly you come with a different story. Then you're going to go, she's materialistic. But you set the standard.
Thank you.
So that's the first thing. It's going and doing some work on yourself and your self-worth, because that's another thing. There's family validation. Did you know about family validation? Where we seek validation from our families based on what we give them.
But like you said, childhood trauma. So we didn't get it as a
100%.
child.
100%.
So we keep, just because we're grown up, does
100%.
not mean we don't want mommy and daddy's love, or I'm proud of you.
Or praise. Or the uncle's praise, or the street where you live.
Whatever.
Praise. Oh, look, you rebuilt your mom's house, and it's a big house.
Yeah.
And then everyone praises you.
Yeah.
And then when there's a family wedding or whatever,
gathering,
you must come with the new car. Ooh. You must have the right clothes. You must make the biggest family contribution.
Eastern Cape, because
so expensive.
Going, why the transport? It's the stuff that they have to take with
100%.
the gifts.
You can't come empty-handed.
Can't come empty-handed, and it's such a sad reality. But it is a new generation we have to look at and have to discuss and have to make people feel okay to speak about that. Like I say, 30 years. Traditions and stuff that was earned. It wasn't. We still want to have that. But have we done anything to earn it?
Yeah.
And
you know what? Like, maybe you'll know better as a specialist in this space. I think there's also, first there's guilt, which needs to be dealt with. But I think, like, I don't know, psychologically, how twisted is this? You come from a family where there's maybe 8 of you. 4 of you make it. You now living in Camps Bay or Landadno, eating filet mignon, caviar. 2 hours away on a flight, your own brother or your own sister barely has 100 Rand in the account.
Yes.
That is a very twisted thing to come to terms with. I know some are lazy, or some never made it in school, or some just could never get it. But that will always be the conflicting thing of blood. And especially with people that you have walked a journey with and struggled together. I mean, you all grew up.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
How rough it was.
Yes,
and they are the only ones who understand how far we've come, how far we've struggled. That's why when you make it, you say us.
Yes.
Never even say me, because you're like, nah, we're together. So I think I obviously don't know the psychology terms or whatever, but I think that is probably the most twisted thing for me.
Okay.
Like having to reconcile with that, you know? And yeah, I don't know the answers for that, but I think that's a very, very huge contributor of black tax. It's that. Those are your people.
Yes.
I mean, I know, yeah, it can spill over to uncles and grannies, but your siblings, if you come from a big family and not all of you make it, and the disparity is so huge, it's twisted. It's crazy.
When does enabling and empowerment
Yeah.
matter in families? When it comes also, like you said, to that pressure.
Yeah.
Because you're the eldest brother out of 8 children, for example, and you've done the empowerment part. You paid for their school fees. You've taken them to the best university, which you did not even have. You had to fight. You had to either hustle or get a bursary, right?
Yeah.
And now you've provided that.
Yeah.
Now they're still on their ass at home.
Yeah.
And they haven't, actively. Is there a line to be drawn?
Definitely there is a line to be drawn, so you don't fall into savior syndrome, which we do. We also
love that.
do,
Yes.
We're not saviors. I know with money or power or whatever, sometimes we do feel like we can change people's lives, but I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink it.
Yeah.
What I will say I've seen happen is, I always talk about, like, I call it trust fund basics. So do the grooming, educate people, whatever, but do what I call trust fund basics. So for as long as you share a surname with me, you'll have a basic car, you'll have a roof over your head, you'll have access to groceries till you die. It's not going to be a Ferrari. It's not going to be a Mercedes.
You feel that pressure to do that for your siblings?
It's not even a pressure. It's standard. That's my level of, I cannot see my blood being homeless.
What if they've made themselves homeless?
Doesn't matter.
Are you being serious?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you a twisted story. I went to the National School of the Arts, which was a great school.
Where was that?
Johannesburg.
Okay.
So we had it all. Famous people, extremely wealthy people. There was a particular family, I won't talk about them, but the dad was famous, the kids were famous, they were all celebrities. And then there was one child, beautiful girl, amazing girl, just went off the rails, started doing drugs, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'll never forget, I was walking in Johannesburg, I saw this girl digging food out of a dustbin. And she walked up to me and she said she needs 50 rand to go to a shelter. So I was just searching myself and I was like, and I said her name, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, I'm talking about creme de la creme. They had bodyguards, personal drivers, and her sister's on TV, super famous and rich. I said to myself, tough love, yes, but no, my blood will never dig in dustbins.
But is that...
Yeah.
You just said surname.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that an ego thing?
Yeah.
They're truly going, I can't have my person with my surname, with my bloodline on the street, or you saying that? Truly think about this.
Yeah.
Because you really care and you really want the best. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%. For me, it's blood.
Okay.
We're blood. You're messing up. It's like have you ever had a drug addict in the family?
Oh.
Like a serious one who steals TVs and
I can't talk about it.
Sorry, we're not joking about this because this is a safe space.
No, this is a safe space. Yeah, but I've had because people need to relate to us, otherwise we're just talking. Yeah. I've had a drug addict person, I'm not even going to say the gender, cousin that stole from one of my friends.
Yeah.
And the only reason I found out, friend's sister or whatever, is because on the internet going, watch out for this guy. And they put the name and surname. I'm like, that's my surname right there. Right there. And I'm going, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Trust me.
Yeah.
That family has done everything to help this person.
Absolutely.
So must I now keep him in my house, for example? Just listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Keep him in my house, give him a car, everything.
Yeah.
am I helping this person?
No, it's what I'm saying. You gotta do tough love.
Do you know if this this woman that you went to school, is she dead, alive, better? Since being on the street?
I think she's still in the streets.
Okay.
Yeah,
so she hit a rock bottom and changed yet?
No, you know what they did? The dad was extremely strict. 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, I'm done.
Good, 3 strikes, that's reasonable compared to some families, is it not?
You know? But like, for me, I'm like, I could never get to that level.
Wow.
And because I've seen people go off the rail to the point of suicide. And I've seen people like at the funeral going, I know I did the right thing by showing tough love, but maybe I could have. And for me, that's a feeling I can't live with, especially for blood. But I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to be easy to you. I'm not going to roll out a red carpet, but I will help you until you die. I will just at a different level, at a manageable level, but I will never, ever write anybody off, especially my blood. Never. And that's
do you think this is because I don't know if I'm just speaking hard because of my job. I don't know if I'm speaking hard. Do you think
as a professional?
As a professional, or do you just think white people are cold? Us white people, we like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying all white families are like, throw them on the street.
Yeah. I don't think
I'm hearing something.
What you're saying. I don't think you're cold. I think we have different cultures.
But I'm not saying I don't think one's then good.
And different upbringings. And I think that definitely the Western culture is it's the high walls. It's me and my 2 kids. And it's if you don't match up, you fend for yourself. If you mess up 1, twice, you're gone. Like even the concept of putting someone in a what's this, a hospice or whatever. That's a Western thing. In an African thing,
70 years old, let's ship off. Yeah.
And without even worrying, it's just like, but she's old and we're busy.
Yeah.
We're not gonna change her diapers, we're busy. And it's like, wow. But in an African home, we will take turns to look after Gogo until Gogo goes to rest. And no one will complain. No one will be it's just like, oh my guy, that's standard. You know? And do you know another crazy insight for you? How many mentally disturbed people we lived with in the hood? Like,
meaning?
And it even became a joke. In every hood, there's a mentally disturbed person.
Oh,
like a crazy person.
Oh,
Either picks up papers and
and talks to himself like schizophrenic. We don't know the disorder, but misdiagnosed.
But the way the African culture has been able to handle this person, keep them in the house, not have shame, treat them normally, for me has been phenomenal. Yes, maybe they could have done more to get them professional help.
No, but they don't have the resources. Let's not pretend. We're in South Africa.
But that's also another insight. Now that I'm older, I look back, I was like, wow, there were so many things that were managed well and normalized that in a Western culture, this person wouldn't survive. It would be like, are you joking? Get out of here. You know?
Okay, but can I give a little curveball to that?
Yeah.
I believe in, I don't, Western, traditional, whatever you believe in, whatever you have willpower and give power to, I believe.
Yeah.
So normally I say, because I did outreach as well in Mozambique, so that was obviously a different culture, but and obviously a lot here in South Africa. And I see people that are mentally challenged that are treated as if they are cursed, black magic, which is, if you believe something enough, you're going to, so you're going to go to your traditional healers, right? Where maybe, and I'm not saying always, where they needed whatever, the Western, because that's what we would call it, hospitalization. Yes, medication, they would have been okay. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's also where it comes difficult, where maybe, yes, actually, I've had many clients that have gone to Sangoma and they were healed, truly.
Yeah.
Whether people go, but that's not right. No, if that was believable to them, if that was real to them and they are healed, I'm not going to question that.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you've done that, I would cross all, ticks off and I'll try the Western way anyway. So I'm saying out of those people, that were like in the communities that I said, and then it was a simple mental health issue because of lack of education, because of lack of awareness. And also I think I've heard a client say this, black people can't have mental health issues. There's nothing like my clients, I've had more clients this year that are African that have depression.
Yeah.
and I've actually got them on antidepressants, but it took a while. Like, it's not like something that's easy for them to go to the clinic and go speak to someone and get on medication for. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But look at the suicide rates of men.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
You know what I mean? So do you get what I'm saying about the bridging sometimes the two?
I definitely think I don't think it's a belief thing. I think whether you like it or not, life is spiritual. Yeah. We are physical beings having a spiritual encounter. The spiritual realm is very real and it doesn't need our participation. However, whether religiously, whether African science, we have exaggerated the spiritual realm and neglected counseling, medicine, common sense, and I think that's where the lines are blurred, where I think Africans could have benefited so much from something simple as therapy, but maybe they over spiritualized and they over, and they started finding other ways, whereas it was just a simple thing as seeing a therapist and seeing one early, talking about things, having
getting that
therapy,
professional help rather than more spiritual religious.
But it's case by case. There are some cases that are very. I've seen things. There are cases that have baffled even the best professionals. So
they are like a study to be,
and you whether you believe in the stuff or not, you go, no, this is another level.
There's no answer.
This is deep. This is a very deep spiritual matter, whatever. But I think it's time that Africans looked at therapy and therapists as something to embrace. I do, however, think that in African culture, we had therapists. We just never called them that.
What did you? Okay.
Because we had things like imbizo, men coming together with that traditional beer, sitting around.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, I've heard. Yes.
Discussing
things.
Yes. So, yeah, the person sitting there may have been a chief of the tribe or whatever, but that was someone who heard, counseled, dissected a matter, and gave you an outlet. So we had those safe spaces anciently in an African context. It was just when we were now migrating into a Western culture and we started losing some of our traditions that now you're in the suburbs with high walls. You don't really know anyone. And you've got all these issues. You're a young father. You're having all these challenges. You have no one to speak to.
Yes.
Even in the modern context in the township, I don't know if you've seen on the corners, like we call camping chairs.
Oh,
Guys will take camping chairs, buy those cords, and men will sit there and talk about deep issues for hours, And it's not a professional therapist, whatever.
No, yes.
Just the fact that you have an outlet and a safe space as a man. For me, I feel like a lot of the more modern and Western man in the suburbs and whatever, you don't believe in therapy and you believe you're an African.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous space because who are you talking to?
Yes.
You're carrying all this burden, and that's why you find just the craziest outlets from the most calm people, and you just hear a guy shot himself and shot his whole family, and you're like, but how?
Yeah. And the thing is, the one thing I will disagree, or not disagree, the thing that I've found, this is, like I said, based on third experience with my clients. These traditional ceremonies, so after, grieving, when you have to go back home and you make the traditional beer, now we've got to talk about alcoholism.
Oh, yeah.
Now we've got to talk about, I don't know, I shouldn't even laugh, but it's become such a problem.
Yeah.
So people now have these beautiful ceremonies for their, ancestors or, lost loved ones, and they have their traditional beer. They have people there that aren't even from that tribe.
Yeah.
They aren't from they've never seen this person in their life, but it's free beer.
Yeah.
And also the part where you see in the corners that they're talking.
Yeah.
These are my clients but they've got a wife at home and kids.
Yeah.
Are they talking about If they didn't have alcohol, let me put it like this, would they still be talking?
Yeah.
And would they still be friends?
I think you have to understand what the role of alcohol is. Alcohol, even outside of a township context, is one of the easiest tool to help people open up and be vulnerable. And especially people who don't know and don't have a place where they can speak. People find that's why the whole concept of barman Larry came up. You know, you divulge the most at a bar because you're vulnerable and you're open, and the barman is listening. So
doesn't get paid enough.
I think the alcohol was used as an escape for not being able to be vulnerable. So a man would find it easier to buy a beer. And I've seen men. I mean, would be there. What's up? Drink. Yeah, when the first beer is done, then we now open up. I love you, bro. And then we get deep because the alcohol. But what you're saying is important, because what you're not realizing is the more the drinks are flowing, the more now there's an emotional connection between alcohol, therapy, and talking. Now you think you need a beer to talk.
Yeah.
Now boys, boys say, let's go for beers. We are actually saying as boys, let's go talk about some deep things.
That's a good way. I get it.
You go to the spa, you go to the hair salon. As men,
let's go have some wine, but I get you. I actually 100%.
We go to the bar, and as men, it's very hard to find men who can just soberly just say, yo, dude, where you at? Come, I want to talk. No. Especially older African men. Forget about it. They will remain a closed book. Give them a bit of alcohol.
I know.
And you'll suddenly start hearing them open up, telling you the struggles, telling you the challenges.
Yes.
So I think that's...
But do you see how that's a negative coping mechanism?
100%.
Yeah. So it's the fact of... I'm getting a lot more African men clients, which I'm, if you're listening to this, so proud of. And I'm so immensely, I want them to be able to come on the show and really share so they can help others, but that's not their responsibility.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that it's okay. And it's so crazy because I'll have one African client and they'll be telling me struggles that my next client is experiencing, and he's also an African man. And obviously it's confidentiality. And I go, you've got a brother in arms here.
Wow.
But because they don't speak to each other, or they don't share because it's a man and they can't speak, and it's like they feel alone.
Yeah.
So and that's why I'm so glad and grateful you're here, because, you shared. And I actually wanted to ask you, so what culture are you again?
So I am a mix of Pedi, Tonga, Zulu.
And your mom is?
Pedi.
And she's still living with us. She's, living with us on this beautiful earth.
In this realm.
And I wanted to ask, as a Pedi woman or as an African woman, we know the pressures, especially coming from an African woman, about marriage and, where's my, what's grandkids called? I know she's going to be a gogo, but what would your grandkids be called?
Grandkids.
Oh, yeah. So, but she would be gogo.
Yeah.
And, the pressure, how are you feeling about that? Do you feel the pressure sometimes from her, or is that outdated? That traditional sense.
At my age, they've given up.
You're still giving your age away, yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yes.
Black don't crack. Don't forget.
Yeah.
No, I think that that will never stop being a reality and a pressure. I just think it's not spoken about as often as possible. My mom has always been a silent person that never really vocalizes a pressure, but you can feel her, and I think it's more of a longing than a pressure.
Okay. Yes, it's understandable. Yeah.
We as human beings have different legacy and bucket list things. I think for her, she's just going, it would be nice to hold your grandchild before I go.
I understand.
But it's not
Do you feel that pressure sometimes?
For me, I would rather invest my time in getting a good partner so I can have a lasting marriage, as opposed to rushing.
Yes.
So I can tick off some boxes. However, my dad told me this before he passed. there's a direct relation between intent and marriage.
Okay.
He said that's the difference between my generation and yours. He says you think that the right time will come. We just made a decision and we had intent and we worked towards it.
Okay.
So he said, okay, I know you're not ready. When? He says, when winter's coming, the weather starts changing and you see winter's coming. When you see that you're headed to marriage, we can see. We can see. You don't wake up ready for marriage. You work towards it. Trial and error. Date the wrong person. Work on yourself. Go for therapy. But you can see that you're working towards it. And then I went, wow, okay. If you want marriage, if you want to start a family, start now. Not by buying a ring, but by working on yourself.
Yes. So you can, when the person comes, it's not their duty.
100%.
I believe that. Like, you need to match it.
100%.
You know, be both 100% when you meet each other, 100%. You know? Yeah, that is, I totally understand. And I think our generation is, but there is such a decrease in population, in marriages. And you got to wonder. But then again, there's statistics of people living longer because they're single and don't have kids and they're the happiest that they've ever been. 100%. So it's such a difficult one, but rather... Yes, I know. I think with men and women, it's a little bit different because we've got the, the clock ticking, you know, sperm lives forever. There are 90-year-old men that just had kids. So, you know, and they...
Women, it's different.
Yeah, women are different.
Even
you know?
with all the
breakthroughs
in the world. In medicine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the reality.
It's the reality.
So I think, but still don't settle, you know. I think that's the important thing.
But be realistic.
Yeah.
Be realistic. You know, like, marriage is a choice.
Is it true that men, what's that saying? They go, men they will have a woman in front of them.
Yeah.
But if they aren't ready for marriage, they aren't ready for marriage, right? And it's a perfect woman. It's the right woman, whatever.
Yeah.
But when they are ready for marriage, the first woman that walks into their life type thing, that'll be it. Is that true?
Yeah. There's a phrase that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Okay.
So, when you've prepared yourself as a person, naturally, the right things gravitate to you. When you are desperate, you start thinking anything in front of you is right. And you'll give the reasons and you can make anything right.
I know.
With the right justification.
I know.
Make everyone around believe.
And it's a thing of dating someone based on their potential. Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
When you've done the work, and you're ready, you won't even have to look. Like attracts like. You will just attract that person who is right. But when you haven't done the work and you're just desperate for the badge, for society and the age and whatever, then anybody and that's where manipulation comes. Because remember, manipulators have learned language. They now know how to speak.
Okay.
You know? Yeah, I just want to settle down, you know, I'm just a simple man. Ding, 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 ding. The girls, he's so perfect because he talks right.
Oh, no, listen.
Yeah.
I know this, and I'm going to say it factually. I don't even need to study psychology.
Yeah.
Men fall in love with action and sexuality and all of that. Women fall in love with words.
100%.
And a man, and anyone can talk. I can hear the promises that a man can give. My God. You know, and I'm still waiting for those promises they said 10 years ago.
And women are so gullible.
But also women, the power of some boobs and a good ass. You guys, no offense.
We don't know what.
We have both our weaknesses here. I'm just like, you know, it's just funny, seduction, you know, sexuality and stuff. Yeah. And all a man needs to do is words. We unconsciously know. Don't come here and tell me, I know I didn't go out and plan. A woman doesn't go out and plan, you know, I'm going to do this. Or a man's going to go, I'm a talker, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
It's like it's sad. It's like a scary, now that I'm thinking.
Look at this, right? A woman who'll see a man on the news.
Yeah.
And it will say, serial killer found. She'll go, no, I still want to call him and I want to hear it from his mouth.
No, don't. I don't know if you've watched, I told you this, Temptation Island, latest season, America. Brian, remember Brian?
I love that show.
Let's talk about Brian quickly, right? He had a threesome.
Yeah.
On TV. It showed.
Yes.
And her comment,
Yeah,
what is her name, Shantae? She goes,
Yeah.
I just need to see and talk to him to find out more. Like, what?
Thank you.
You're saying then
Thank
you know and you have fallen in love
Thank
with
you.
these words.
Thank
That's
you.
klar. It's klar. Because he's had a threesome on TV, mate.
It's there.
It's there. So yes.
100%.
Yes. But so let's put on the other shoe. What's his name? Brian. All it took him some titties, and that Shantae was out of his mind.
To change a whole commitment on national TV. He couldn't even wait for the show to end and say, listen, let's hook up in
Give him
Atlanta.
a secret number, like, meet me here.
No.
Listen. And he's like,
wait for that secret tent.
oh, the secret tent.
Yeah, with no cameras.
No cameras there. I'm surprised he didn't use and abuse that.
Sorry, guys, spoiler alert. But you should watch the show.
Because we can relate to so much in our lives.
No, you know what's so beautiful for me about that show? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young people there. So it's a lot of like, I mean, there's 21, 20.
Hey,
there's a lot of things like that I grow up a bit. But it's so beautiful because it's so honest. And there are different archetypes of men and women. And it's funny how we can see ourselves in a lot of those characters. It's so good. That show is so good.
Yes. You know, I've watched 3 seasons or 2 seasons of it. And I know it's African Americans, right? But it reminds me of like a traditional household where the women are loyal, eh? Like, because I was watching Shantae and I don't want to,
that is so
but
crazy.
I said on the show I'm going to speak about things that I want to speak about because I'm not going to be afraid about speaking about race just because I'm white. But like, I'm not going to make it a racial thing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when I watched, it was that season, another season, and probably a Love Is Blind or South African, the ultimatum, and I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, the forgiveness, the
tolerance.
The tolerance. And, you know, because I remember Shantae on the show, she was a very religious woman and that was her reasoning, you know, God forgives. And I'm going, but then again, I'm actually shooting myself in the foot because there was other African-American women that were going to him and going, I'm not going to be friends with you. You're disgusting. But the way Shantae and where in a couple of shows, the white woman, but also at the end of the season, they did get back together, but at least they didn't do it on TV, you know?
Yeah.
But what do you think about that?
I honestly think it's not a race thing. It's a type of woman that has allowed herself to be manipulated long enough to just fall for lies. And I actually have some of those in my life right now where it's just black and white, but she just refuses to believe. And these are probably like white women, colored women, foreign women.
Yeah.
Listen,
but then doesn't it come down to their upbringing? Surely there's an absent parent there somewhere.
Definitely has to
Some
do
with, you know,
childhood traumas.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of the women are looking for their fathers and men. So, like,
it's very true. Very true. What do they say? It's a real thing. Where is it a sugar daddy? No, it's like a. But daddy problems, daddy issues. That's the issue. Daddy issues where we do see women, and I don't care about age. Like if them, you know, men sometimes do take a long time to grow up. And if I marry someone 20 years my senior, but if I've done it in 5 of my past relationships, I've got to do some psychology and do some research about why I'm doing that. You know, and there's mommy issues. There's men out there that are dating an older woman. You know,
now imagine this. Imagine dating someone 20 or 25 years older than you who's a manipulator. What chance do you stand?
Oh, you know, nothing. You're just waiting. Who's the manipulator, though?
The man.
The older one?
Yeah.
No, maybe she's just waiting for him to croak and get the...
No, but I'm saying in the case where... then she's the hustler. Yeah. But I'm saying in the case...
She's the manipulator, sorry.
In case where he's the manipulator, I'm talking about like these women that date older men, I'm saying... If you have a bad case where he's a manipulator, you don't stand a chance because you have to understand also age and experience plays a part.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's like going into a business meeting with a new business owner. Like you just look at them and you go, I've got 15 years ahead of you. I will eat you alive.
Yeah.
But
it's creepy, isn't it? Because it could be his daughter.
Crazy.
It is a little creepy.
I want to say something though on what you said about when I watched that show. I just was like, it's crazy how the psychology of men and women work.
Yeah.
The guys were tempted by the girls. The girls were working hard to stay loyal.
Yeah.
Until they found out what the guys were doing. That's a crazy thing.
What is crazy about it?
I think what's crazy about it is I feel like women are definitely more loyal than men, and women are reactionary. A woman will give a man a benefit of the doubt until she has a reason not to, and then she'll sway the other way. Good women, especially, you know.
I think committed. It's not the beginning stages where. Because it kind of contradicts then what we're saying about women that want certain things. But I'm talking like in-depth committed women, and they want to see. No, I agree with you. Like they were working and being loyal, and then the first temptation. But this comes down again with words.
Yeah.
And then men being like tempted. So if a guy, I wonder if they did the Temptation Island.
Maybe they did put the right guys in that house.
Yeah, no,
I feel like those guys were too weak.
No.
They were supposed to put sharks in that house.
If those guys were talking sweet. No.
Yeah, if those guys had game,
and they were
I feel like that show would go another way.
Yeah, they go another way.
Those guys were just like
pleaded to the gender, yeah.
And they were just being there and support. But I was like, the women in that house,
we're playing to the men's weakness, and they all fell for it.
They did well.
They all fell for it.
I wonder if they get paid more to make the men weak. No, they did well.
Excuses for your gender.
Listen.
Excuses for your gender. Oh, what did the women get paid to stay loyal? Yes.
No, I was impressed by those women. No, those women. Yeah, but like, those guys didn't stand a chance, man. I was just like, these guys are weak.
So let's not talk about loyalty.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about you. That branding, once again, if a woman did that, it would be a slut, a whore. But if a man does it, like the way he goes, I don't have any regrets about having this is like, I'm just a threesome guy. like,
100%.
Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
The woman did that. Where this guy now, I'm a cool dude. I'm a cool, yeah.
An argument I recently had with someone. I hope they don't see this and think I'm divulging our personal.
No, but we'll never know who this person is, so it doesn't matter.
But so I said, as an African, my culture is polygamy. Even though my father never practiced, and I probably won't practice.
I get what you're saying. Yes.
But our culture is polygamy.
Yes.
Then this person, who's obviously not African, was like, what's the concept? I told the concept.
Well, probably not African, sorry, like you didn't know. Sorry, that was funny. You're really not divulging.
A lot of wives, and you know, the wife invites the other wife, and then and she's like, but why can't the wife also have a lot of husbands?
It's true.